When we are talking about gestures, try not to hold anything in your hands. Only if it's absolutely necessary you can hold the pen, but usually it distracts. Do not push your hands into the pockets. This is also distracts, and also it shows a kind of negligence to the audience in general. Just use some open gestures. Again, it provides some kind of moral, not physical, kind of moral contact with the audience. It shows that you're open and open to the questions. It can help you in the end when you get the questions. Also, speak clearly and loudly, which is why I'm asking everybody to rehearse the presentation. Don't mumble bubble, because otherwise nobody will understand and you will not get the important questions. Because why you're providing this presentation? To get questions at the end. To get some reactions from the audience. Because if you provide this, if you don't care much about the audience, you will not get the result that you're expecting. So you have to make sure that your message goes to the eyes, to the ears, to the hands of the audience. For this case, for this aim, you should not mumble bumble much. And also it's important to show some emotions. If you are talking like Brezhnev, which was political leader of Soviet Union, nobody will listen to you too much. The audience should have a feeling that you have finally mastered this topic. That you know more than the audience. Well, at least more than the most of the audience. Because there are some experts in the group as well here, right? Also, if it is necessary, prepare notes in advance. In the PowerPoint, there is this very marvelous tool when you put small notes under each slide. Those notes for yourself. Just print out those slides with those notes, and you will see for every slide what you were supposed to tell. Also, if needed, provide the handouts. If you have some huge tables with very many different results, provide all those handouts to the audience, or to the most part of the audience, so that the people will not try to see those very little figures on the slides. And also look for the time control. One slide should be approximately 1 minute. Sometimes it is more, sometimes it is less, but this is very rough estimation how the presentation goes. For the 20-minute presentation, this is usually not wise to have more than 20-25 slides. Because unless this is some kind of pictures that go on very rapidly. If it's just text, it shouldn't be too much. So, what I did wrong? With the slides, there was a very long title. Even if you prefer long titles, on the slide make it shorter. I had a lot of text in the introduction, and I was reading this introduction. And the introduction was about nothing actually, it didn't have any structure. So I was just reading this introduction, it was long and it was boring and did not provide anything new. I had all those different slides and fonts, and this was also kind of wrong. I remember I was talking to a colleague of mine and she was preparing the presentation at all different times. I said, why are you doing this? She answered, well, I think it was kind of boring and decided to liven it up a little bit. I said, don't. Because when you liven it up a little bit, people get confused immediately. Because all different types on the presentation, they mentally mean something. And don't do this unless you really mean to do this. Also, I had very long numbers with no dividers. When your effect is something like 0.27, you can easily tell the effect is about 1/4. Because 1/4 much easily goes into the brain when there is 0.2753. When the number is very long, you should not read the entire number. Round it up to some meaningful value and tell this rounded number. Even though you can leave anything you want on the slide, when you present this, do not tell this is 1.85 million, stuff like that. No, say this is about 2 million. It's enough, because this is what people would like to get. People usually would like to get a general idea. They can see the correct number on the board, but in their mind they would like to see something very general. My equation was too long, because I didn't use vectors, and the equation didn't fit into one line. This is also not very good because it was very difficult to follow that equation. And also I had a lot of types and grammar errors. In the presentation I didn't have much structure, if you noticed that. I had introduction, and then I had data, and then I had literature, and then I had introduction as well, again, and I had again a bit of literature. You should put all those components all together, so when you prepare the presentation, kind of sketch the structure first, and then write the presentation around the structure. And in the introduction, if you were really carefully listening to that, I didn't provide any idea what I was talking about. I just said, I'm going to explore something about widgets. This was not the idea, this was nothing. This is not what people would be interested in. I did not provide any data description. I didn't tell what data come from. I just said that, well, this was some questionnaire. I didn't even tell what kind of questionnaire it was. Also, I was reading a lot. I didn't look at the audience at all, and I guess my language was not perfect. The presentation that is really effective, that really sells your work, is the one that you would like to see again. This is the one that you like. This is something that you remember at the end of the day. The idea is important. The idea goes into the structure, and the structure determines the layout of the presentation in general. Rehearsal is important for the good presentation, and the performance is also important. Because performance is how you present the presentation, or how you present your work orally to the audience. And if you don't like it much, probably it's just not worth to be shown to others as well. Because ultimately it's just you who sells the presentation. It's just not text, it's just not pictures, it's not tables. This is you who are the most important component in that. Are there any questions? Good. This presentation will be available either on the website or I will send it to Irina. So you will get access to this presentation if you want.
So what do you think about audio effects?
I usually don't like them. Again, in the academic presentation, very often people get back to different slides. And if these audio effects are in the very beginning in the introduction, I think it's fine. If it's somewhere in the middle, when you go back, you go for those audio effects again and again. And this is something which annoys. So you should be able to get to any slides very quickly. That is why I usually do not support all those audio effects, all those visual effects, all those different slide transitions. Everything should be very quick. In this case, you will get to any slide very quick as you want.
Do you use section titles for sections? When you make some structure of your presentation, do you use title for each structure element and section or something?
Sometimes yes, sometimes not. It depends. If I use Beamer, if I use LaTeX, in that software, I just use automatically. So just put over there. If not, it depends upon the length of the presentation, upon how many components I have. Because actually, face it, when you look at the standard academic presentation, it goes motivation, that goes literature, then goes data description, that goes your model, that goes your results. The structure is absolutely standard. In this case, there is no much sense to put all those different structural components onto the slide. If it's something else, something completely non-standard, if you describe your results and you describe this strand of results, and then this line of results, and this robustness check, in this case, probably this is necessary. But if the presentation is pretty standard, especially if this is like a new proposal or interim report proposal, probably this is not very much needed. So it's just up to you. There is no uniform advice here. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was very informative and interesting.
Good luck.
will ask you.
Okay, that's fine.
Or we can do it later.
What's happening now?
They finished already.
For the day.
Today? Yes.
So we can do the meeting again.
Окей? Окей. Всем большое. На самом деле, моя информация тоже была, что модели я на своей конкурсе демонстрировали за состояние модель.
Ну, иногда можно даже не векторами, даже не уравнение, а просто функции записать. Функция от каких-то элементов. Потому что, ну, понятно, что это функция аддитивная, то есть там будет коэффициент плюс что-то. То есть как бы...
Мне казалось, что что-то я делаю не так, вот, как именно. Это так надо увидеть и услышать.
Векторами достаточно стандартно. То есть я даже не сам придумал, очень многие это так сами используют.
Понятно, я первый раз ну, использую, так.
Цветочки на самом деле прикольно. То есть цветочки это не страшно. Особенно если это студенты, ну что цветочки, цветочки. Я потому что видел очень хорошую презентацию из London School of Economics, которая была набрана такими шрифтами, что просто атас, но при этом она была очень эффектно сделана. Там вот на каждом слайде было. В общем, она PhD студент там была, то есть она как бы представляла. Очень так неплохо, эффектно. Да, ну как,
No. A little bit.
Oh.
Was that right? What did you understand? What
You said like I don't
Yeah.
खाली थोड़ा सा ही
Yeah, correct.
yeah I थोड़ा सा ही जानती हूँ so like